Hey there, Blade fans. Back with you once again, Blade Reviews, OG Review Blade, OG Blade Reviews. It's early in the morning. Waking up still, need a few more cups of that Joe. Kansept sent me this for review and consideration. It is the Dako by Eddy M, who is Eddy Martinez. And it is a 3.2-inch blade of S35VN stonewashed, and we've got a handle of titanium and shred carbon fiber. I'm going to unbox it. You look at it. I'll tell you a little bit about the designer. And here are our replacement extra backup Omega springs. So I guess you already know it's a bar lock. That's the lock they put on the bar to keep you out past closing hours. Right. In the usual flapped case from Kansept, here is the Dako. Take a look at that little honey while I tell you a little bit about Mr. Martinez and a little bit perhaps about the design. Let's see if I can pull that up. By the way, in case you don't like the one you see, these are the other configurations, including a Damascus. And their Damascus is 10CR 18 MOV and 440 if you get that model. And as you may or may not know, most stainless steels have a base of 440C, so don't poo-hoo 440C. All right. Let's see if we can get to where I want to be. There is a little bit about the designer. Eddy Martinez, raised in Chile, moved to the U.S. in 2016 at the age of 21. He's a passionate knife enthusiast and collector, and he's been deeply involved in the community and industry for years. With a strong background in web and graphic design, Eddy has crafted websites and logos for numerous companies. However, his true excitement now lies in creating something tangible. So that is something interesting about the designer. And although Eddy is from Chile, the name Dako, the only translation I could find is big, large, or great. And it's an adjective in Cebuano, and that's like Cebu, that's as in the Philippines, an adjective used to describe size, quantity, or importance. So not quite sure of the meaning of Dako for this knife. Perhaps you know, perhaps you're Filipino. And it's not a large knife, but it could be great in importance. So what Kansept is saying is that this is a high flat grind, which it is. It's stonewashed. It is S35VN. Here's your titanium bolster. Here's a really nice, I call it a shred carbon fiber scales, titanium for the frame and for the back spacer, double thumb studs, and locking bar configuration. Beautiful action on it. By the way, if I haven't mentioned this in the past, on other lock bar knives from Kansept, they give you 3 positions underneath here, so should you want to adjust the tension on the axis, you can. I don't know where they start us off, maybe in the middle, but it is easily finger flicked open with the thumb or the middle finger from the reverse side, or very easily opened using the lock bar. I love the action on it. And you can use one side of the lock bar with a little bit of effort, which is what I like, because on some of the original Benchmade Axis locks from which this is derived, you couldn't use just one side of it. You had to use both in order to get it to move. It's always a little easier using both sides, but with some of these more recent lock bar knives, particularly from Kansept, it's very smooth, and you can use just one side should you want to. Meant to be a very straightforward utility design. To me, the profile looks like a spear point. You could call it a drop point. Appears to have a pretty aggressive edge on it. We're going to try a paper cut. Well, let's try a paper cut now. Then we'll get into measuring. I have a feeling it's going to do well, and it does. I like it when the edge is both aggressive in terms of having micro serrations and kind of bitey and very keen at the same time. So let's measure it up. Overall length of the Dako is 7.5 inches exactly. And we've got a blade. I'm going to use their measurement because, it's fractional. They're going to say, they say on the box a 3.2, and I think on the specs they say a 3.19. Call it 3.2. So just under 3.25 inches. Yes, it's a smaller knife, and a lot of you like that, a lot of you don't. What can I say? It's a matter of personal preference and use. And we got a cutting edge right about the same, maybe a tiny bit longer. I mean, these fractions of inches on knife blades generally don't make a difference. I'm going to give you both imperial and metric on the thicknesses. 0.46 on the handle, not bad. And on the blade stock, 0.11. Going back to the handle, 11.6 millimeters, 2.9 millimeters on the blade stock, just under 3 millimeters. Get the scale out. And where are we at? We're in ounces. I'm going to go to grams because ounces is a step away from that. And we've got 94.87 grams or 3.3, call it 3.35 ounces rounding up. Another look around. It's a handsome knife. We call it handsome, pretty. No, I'd call it handsome. Interesting clip. They went a little different with the foot of that clip. And although it is a titanium milled clip, it looks and functions a bit more like a bent metal clip, like a sheet metal clip, which I like because very often with the way they set up this, call it a foot here that meets the handle and goes into your pocket, very often they're difficult getting in and out of the pants pocket. And this one is so much smoother. It is not transferable to the left side of the knife, which is the case with so very many titanium clips. There you can see Eddy's logo on the right side. Name of the knife, Dako, and Kansept's logo on the left side. In a tiny little print here, can barely see it, is the model number and the steel S35VN. So light knife, and it is weight relieved. You can see that right there. It's removed, and let's see, also on the other side. So that accounts for its 3.35 ounces. Balance is nice. It's right about there, right about where the axis is, the axis bar lock. Bar lock, not axis lock. For compare today, I was looking for knives that might look the same, but I really didn't end up doing that. So for the heck of it, I'm going to show you the Vosteed Akita, which is their Vancouver pivot lock. A little bit smaller, a little bit shorter, more of a Bowie clip style blade. And the Kubi MOS, which was designed by Alessandra De Santis. And this one's very interesting. It was based on the larger Wii version called the Roman. And this one is really, really light. I like the Ultim on the handles there. And it also has more of a narrow version of what you have on the Dako as far as the blade profile. Much taller and fatter here, much more slender here, but both with that point on line and a very thin edge, a very thin taper, excuse me. There are those three. Here is my usual compare, Reptilian by Benchmade, a mainstay knife for many of us, and a good deal longer overall, a good deal, well, not quite as much, maybe 3/4 of an inch longer blade, 1/2 inch longer blade. Definitely a longer blade than the Akita. Love the Akita, what they're doing with the Vancor lock. This is an aluminum handle on this guy, and it has the front flipper. Pretty easy to access. I don't do really well usually with front flippers. And liner lock on the Kubi MOS. This ended up being a much more useful and desirable knife than I thought it was going to be. So check that out if you get the chance, the Kubi MOS. And of course, full-handled knife on the Griptilian. This is also full handle, so I know lately I've been getting a little flack for these small knives from Kansept that they're sending along, but they are sending a bigger one that I should have in maybe a week or so. It's called the Bison, and it is a 4.25-inch blade. So for those that don't like the smaller knives, you're going to get a treat with the Kansept Bison. Check that out. Right about now, you'll see my logo over here. Don't forget to click on that and you can subscribe to the channel. I'll be back with you soon. Stay safe. Be well.